You're tuning into the Fearless Fridays with Maryann podcast. As a best-selling author, certified life coach, and speaker, I created this podcast to inspire, empower, and transform you from the inside out. From time to time, you may hear a solo episode, but for the most part, we will be joined by real-life guests who have overcome adversity. But as they have done the work, today they are thriving. So grab your pen and paper as we get started and learn firsthand tips and tricks to change the trajectory of your lives so we can live a free, fearless, and fabulous life. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fearless Fridays with Maryann. I am your host, Maryann Rivera-Dannert, and today we have another amazing co-author of our upcoming book, The Beautiful Face of Invisible Illness. So without further ado, let's bring her on and get started. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So let's get started. Tell us your name and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Milicent Driver. I am an empowerment coach, really focusing on entrepreneurship and business. I am an author and a speaker.
Beautiful. So what led you to become passionate about empowering women and helping individuals find their purpose?
For me, what made me, passionate about this particular area that I'm now embarking on was my own experiences, having, some setbacks in my life after receiving my education and working and doing all the things I'm supposed to do according to America, that the American life. I found myself, just really stuck from different things, from tragedy to illness to a lot of different things. So I became passionate about finding my own way and finding, a different route. So I found that in entrepreneurship and really building on, stepping into that role of building entrepreneurship, but also taking on the road of coaching other individuals, particularly women, and leading them into entrepreneurship as well, and giving them, just kind of like that leverage from, life's trials, ups and downs, or just even transitioning from that 9 to 5, and kind of just embracing their own. So that's kind of where that passion started for me.
Oh, beautiful. So elaborating a little bit, can you share a personal or professional experience that significantly shaped your perspective on women's empowerment? And I know that you shared a little bit about your own personal journey. So what was it that was going on in your life that you felt stuck and that you needed to make a shift?
Okay. First thing was in 2011, December of 2011, my son on December 11th passed away in a car accident. And when I dealing with that, to back up a little bit, I, did what I needed to do actually to, go into, like I say, a career, have a profession, all of those things. I was in the military. I did that and went to school, got my bachelor's, and then I got 2 masters. So I did all of that. So I was working and really feeling empowered because of those things I was doing. I was working, of course, for someone else. But when he passed away, everything stopped. Everything came to a halt. I mean, not just a little bit, but, for a good duration, a good period of time, I just paralyzed, couldn't do anything. So I had to, me going back and working for, other people, bringing all of that on, maybe they understand, maybe not. I had to be ready, had to be prepared. So I said, well, why not use this opportunity and this time to get me together, but also embellish on my dream of being a business owner and starting my own brand. So that's kind of, how that all kind of led up to it. So that is my personal story. My professional story is basically being, educated but not compensated. So you have a lot of people who go to school, they do, go to school, get a good job, and you're fighting, to get that position, or you're fighting to get the salary that, allow you to live comfortably. And it happens to some people. Some people, you get there, but it's a call. It's not going to happen overnight. So it's really like a hindrance as far as getting to your financial goal and your goals that you want to accomplish. So that was my desire to kind of step over into entrepreneurship, because I wanted to be able to ride, and well, not so much ride, but I wanted to drive my own car, drive,
Yeah.
run my own train, and fly my own plane. I just kind of wanted to do my own thing. So
That's awesome. So speaking on the personal side, what were some of the strategies, that you used to help you overcome some of the obstacles, especially when the passing of your son happened? What kept you motivated and what kept you going? How did you pull yourself out of that?
well, one of the things that pulled me out of that was that I had a daughter that was in high school. The time when he passed away, she was a sophomore going into her junior year. So I had to, I had to be there for her.
Yeah.
So that was my first motivation. The second motivation was my own life. I was looking at the fact that I was still living. I'm still here. And I don't know when I'm going to leave this world. So what am I going to do with the time that I have? I don't want to live my life just, in that place. I
Mm.
wanted to be able to give, all I can in this life, because he did a lot. He was a musician. I was very proud of him, but I wanted to be able to say I did what I was supposed to do.
All right.
So over time, I just said, okay, I just kept, praying and seeking God for the strength and for the resilience to move on and not forget, but just kind of get me back to going. But I wanted to be able to have something that can pour out into, this world or into others. I want to make my life matter before
Right.
it's my turn.
Hmm. I love that. So, in your experience, why is it important to be living within our purpose? And what does empowerment have to do with purpose? How do they relate?
Well, I mean, purpose, we all have a purpose. And I feel that we really do. We all have a purpose. And we have, it takes time to realize what that is, but we all have a purpose. But the thing is that if once you have the purpose, what are you going to do with it? So you have to be empowered to take that next step to go into that purpose. The purpose is there. The door is there. We just got to open it. So without being empowered, without even having the strength to just go through that door, it's null and void. It's just kind of like that's there and you're here. So being empowered allows you, that strength to be able to go forward and to go into your purpose. Because when you get into your purpose, it's not a chance, not a time to just go through the door and sit. Now you have to move in that purpose. You got to work in that purpose. So at the beginning, building that empowerment and embracing that empowerment will help allow you to move into your purpose and move through your purpose. And that's kind of how I see it.
So, for someone who may be listening or watching that may be struggling with finding their purpose or identifying their purpose, what are some tools, some tips that you can provide for them?
Well, like I said, everybody has a purpose. So one of the tools that I would, suggest is in the beginning, brainstorm, pick your own brain, find out, who you are and where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? In the short term sense, just say, where do I see myself in 6 months? And just start to just kind of find out who you are and what it is that you desire, whether it's personal, whether it's educational, business, just whatever. Just find out who you are, and find out, okay, what is it about me and what do I want to see myself, how do I want to see myself in the near future? And then just really just start to, build on that. But mainly just, having that mindset, just, kind of developing that mindset of, getting to know yourself. And then also I would say, once you start to, dive into that your mindset, or start to go into your head and just, kind of find out, okay, what's going on? What am I thinking? What are my thoughts? Start to journal those things, because one thing I noticed is that, I used to, think a whole lot about a lot of different things, but I wouldn't write it down. So sometimes I would forget. And then it was times when I was journaling, and then I'll go back and read something that I wrote, and that was like, couldn't believe that I wrote that, because I'm like, what was I thinking at the time? So I think that writing down your thoughts and your desires, your goals, as they come up is a important tool, so that you have that, because we can't rely just on the fact that we're just going to remember, because life happens, things happening, you're constantly moving. You just can't hold on to all of that. You got to write. So I would say start to brainstorm, write down those thoughts that you have, journal those thoughts, and then start to just kind of develop a small plan of things that just kind of like, I'm not saying activities, or kind of, steps that you want to be able to accomplish some of those things that you're thinking about. But, another thing too is really, link up with someone that you trust, or that you feel that you can, express those things to, that they can pour into you, or even help you get to, the next level that you're trying to get to. So it's so many different things, but those are some of the things that I did. And I brainstormed, I started journaling, and then I got support from, others. Sometimes, multiple others, but I got the support. But I just got, tired of being, everything being in my head, where I needed to just go forward. So those are just a few of the tips that I would tell someone, encourage them.
And that is so important. And that's a really good tip, because I think everyone, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you work for someone else, whether you're a single parent, married, children, no children, I think that we all wear many hats. And then we all have so many things going on, and we think we're going to remember, and then it's like, oh wait, you can't. So writing it down is very important. Yes. So in your view, what role does self-love and self-discovery play in a journey towards empowerment and purpose?
Okay, well, self-love is very, very important. I actually wrote a book about self-love. If you're not in tune with yourself, you're stuck. You got to be able first to get you together. You got to be able to embrace you. How can you go out and just venture out and do all these different things if you're not even in love with yourself? It's very important to know who you are, to embrace yourself. Even your mental, your intellect, your spiritual being, your emotional being, your self-esteem, all of those things, you want to, I'm not saying they're going to be perfect, and you're not going to have your highs and your lows, but you want to be aware of where you are in those areas, and you want to be strong, and you want to be solid in those areas, because that makes who you are. And that self-love is very, very important, because if you have if you have an idea, you have something that you're trying to do, you're very excited about it. If you're not confident, and someone can come and tell you, no, I don't think that's for you, it can just, stop everything. But when you're confident, and you have that self-esteem, and you have that self-love, and you've been embracing what it is that you desire to do, people can say things, but if it's negative, it just can't penetrate. But, really taking care of you, and also that, self-love as far as that physical. You want to make sure that you remain healthy by dealing with your stress, dealing with your health, and making sure you get your checkups. So you want to, you want to take care of you so that you can get to the next level. You just not, have all these desires and all these ideas, and then you're a mess, because it's all one. Is one and the same.
Yeah, that's so true. So, excuse me, speaking about, a book that you wrote, we connected on a book project that we are doing together, The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness. So can you share your chapter title, and can you summarize your chapter in one sentence?
My chapter title is Mind Over Matter. And the chapter is about resilience after having a stroke. Finding resilience after stroke.
Yeah. What made you say yes and share your story?
Well, when I first had the strokes, it was basically right after about I say about 10 months after my son passed. And when that happened, it wasn't a major stroke, but it was enough to be debilitating for me. And dealing with his death, and trying to push my way back into some normalcy. Then his stroke it was multiple strokes actually that happened. So it frustrated me, because here I am, went to school, and did my part as far as being educated, working, and building a career, to have a stroke, and to have some of my cognitive abilities challenged. So it was just very, I was just very angry. So what happened was when I would go to places and handle business, it could be a bank or it could be, just at a grocery store. It could be at a post office. If they ask a question, sometimes they may ask me a question. It takes me time to answer. I would get frustrated because I felt they were rushing me. I had the answer. Maybe it wasn't readily available, but it was there. That was some of the effects that I was experiencing from the stroke. So that really kept me in the box. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to deal with anything. I didn't want to handle any business. So that's really when I saw the anthology, I thought about that. I said, a lot of times people are walking around with, so many different things that they're experiencing as far as their health, different illnesses that they have, that they deal with every day. And you will look at someone and not, immediately see that they struggle in those areas. Right. And sometimes we treat people based on, okay, well, I asked you a question, hurry up, tell me what is the problem? But if we are sensitive to the fact that there is a lot of invisible illnesses out there, we wouldn't be so harsh and so, cruel to, each other. That's the hope anyway, but
right.
We wouldn't, that's what I thought about. I thought about myself and how I felt intimidated to go out and everybody, you don't look like you've had that, but so you shouldn't act that way. And that wasn't my testimony. Yeah. So it was the opposite.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. So you've also, as you mentioned earlier, authored other books. Can you tell us about those books?
Well, I just got done with an anthology called Rising Women. And we just released that book about, I think, I want to say right around Thanksgiving or, a few days after, a few days before. But we made number one bestseller for that book. And we talked about, the different things that we went through that were challenging that we had to rise above. So that's when I got a chance to really talk about the grief and the death of my son. And I also wrote 2 books. Can I show you?
Yes, definitely.
So I wrote this one. Is called Pretty Ugly. And this one is, like I said, this one was about the self-esteem and the confidence and the inner beauty. And it kind of talks about us, how you, like I was saying, how you self-love and how you need to embrace your inner beauty. We can work on our physical and we can walk around and, we feel like we look good and everything, but inside we're dying. So I talk about not forgetting about who we are on the inside, really, making sure that we're good on the inside, making sure that we love ourselves internally and not just focusing on the outer, because we can be beautiful on the outside and ugly and dying on the inside. So that's what that book's about. And then I have a journal, it's a self-love journal that kind of, kind of goes along with the book and gives it that kind of I guess bonus. So you can kind of write out some things. It has some affirmations in there. You can, write out some of your expressions because, of course, I say journaling has become, a key component for me. So those are the 2 books that I've written. Those are my first 2 books. And then I was I'm on another anthology that's going to be released called Joy 365. And it's a devotional book with 365 authors. In each day is an author, and it's through the whole year, and it's a inspirational spiritual journey. So we give words of encouragement for that particular day that we're going to have, and also a small affirmation journal. And one more that I just got done with is an anthology with in a doctorate program, and it's called The Boundaries: Inspiring Leaders in Business and Community. So we just made a bestseller with that book as well, and that was the anthology of for kind of dealing with different things or different subjects in the business sense. So those are the things that I'm doing now. So it seems like being an author and writing is kind of my niche right now.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah, it is, and you get to express some things. Sometimes it brings out a lot of different emotions.
Right.
But, it's still a blessing and it's good to be able to go ahead and just face what you need to face.
Right.
And writing is that. So therapeutic it is.
That's awesome. So you are on the Fearless Fridays, podcast. So how are you living a fearless life?
I'm living a fearless life because I am stepping into territories that I never thought I would, or never thought that I deserved to be, or even capable to be in. And I am very proud of myself for just pushing through the fears of starting a business, pushing through the fears of, rejection, or just pushing through the fears of naysayers. I mean, my thing is now my new slogan for the new year, which is not a new slogan, but it's been said a lot of times, but it's mine, is unapologetically speaking. So I'm just going to, just keep walking. I'm not going to be apologetic about the direction that I'm going in and the things that I'm doing. So I'm living fiercely, and through that. And I'm proud of myself that I have not, allowed myself to give up, and I have not folded in the towel, but I'm still pushing.
I love that. I love that. Any last words before I ask you my last question?
Just want to encourage someone that don't allow circumstances, or don't allow individuals, and don't allow tragedies to deter you. And just know that we all gonna have those things happen, and we're gonna have our emotions, and we're gonna have our good days and our bad days. But just remember that you have a life, you have a purpose, and you have an opportunity. Just walk in it. If you need to talk to someone to help you to kind of decipher through those things, get with someone that's doing it, and allow them to be that support for you. But whatever you do something to enhance and embrace life.
I love that. And my last question, where can our audience and our viewers connect with you and support you and purchase your books?
Okay, my website is milicentthestrategist.com. So I have books on there. I also have some merchandise, for my chapter that's Mind Over Matter. I got some t-shirts, some mugs and things. And I love it because it has a butterfly on there, which represents my son. So it's just, it's uplifting. And my books will be on there. So I have some on there. Then the new ones that are going to be released will be on the website as well. And Milicent the Strategist, you can also follow me on Facebook, Milicent the Strategist. And on that page, I just kind of drop, nuggets every week, for aspiring business entrepreneurs, for women. I guess entrepreneurs and business is the same, but for women seeking entrepreneurship, and for women who are, in entrepreneurship, to in business but want to enhance it. So I drop some information there, and then I kind of lead them to other places, and we can dive deeper depending on what their needs are.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for listening to the Fearless Fridays with Maryann podcast. Make sure to stay connected with us, and you can find us on Facebook at MRD Empowerment Solutions, or on Instagram as Maryann Rivera Dannert. You can also visit our website at MaryannRiveraDannert.com. As always, you are fearless, you are fabulous, you are a priority, and you matter.